In this video I'm going to analyse the results I got from my survey which the peers in my class took. I'm going to talk about what these results mean and what I could do to improve. For my first question, I asked my peers to rank in order which of the following 3 magazine titles they preferred the most, 1 being the highest and 3 being the lowest. My 3 chosen magazine titles were Annihilation, Mosh Pit and Breakdown. Annihilation was ranked at number 1 by 4 people. Mosh Pit was ranked at number 1 by 1 person. And Breakdown was ranked at number 1 by 4 people. Annihilation was then ranked number 2 by 1 person. Mosh Pit was ranked number 2 by 6 people. Breakdown was ranked number 2 by 2 people. And finally, Annihilation was ranked at number 3 by 4 people. Then Mosh Pit was ranked at number 3 by 2 people. And Breakdown was ranked at number 3 by 3 people. In total, 9 people took my survey, and Breakdown was obviously my most favoured name for a magazine with 4 votes, tied with Annihilation, which also had 4 votes. In second place was Mosh Pit, which predominantly had 6 votes. But Annihilation, however, also got 4 votes as the least. Therefore, that suggests that Breakdown was the most liked, and then Mosh Pit being second, and Annihilation being third. So this obviously suggests that the people that took my survey most liked the masthead title, Breakdown. Question 2 was pretty straightforward. I asked my peers, on a double page spread, what do you prefer? Lots of text and barely any images? Lots of images and barely any text? Or a good balance of both? No people whatsoever liked the idea of lots of text and no images. However, 1 person liked the idea of lots of images and barely any text, and the majority of people thought that a good balance of text and images would be best. Overall, 9 people answered this question, 8 of them preferring option 3. This tells me that I need to include on my double page spread a good balance of text and images, because this is what my peers believe is the best. And since their odds are so highly towards a good balance of text and images, that is something I must do. For my third question, I asked my peers what do they think is the most important feature in a music magazine and why. 7 people answered this question and 2 people skipped. I got a range of results from the 7 people which responded. One of the responses was relevant content that is informative and entertaining. This is definitely something I'd want to include in my magazine, because these are just the basic things which a magazine needs to include. Another was the masthead, because this is the first thing the customer will notice. I agree. Somebody else answered the main splash article, because that can attract many more buyers. I also agree with this, as if someone sees like an exclusive, it'll make them want to read the magazine. Another person said the front cover, because it attracts you to pick it up, which is sort of similar to answer number 2. Another person talked about the colours. Another was the cover image, and another about the cover image. So these are just basic things I need to include in my magazine. Predominantly people have spoke about the cover, and only 1 or 2 people have talked about the main splash article. So this indicates to me I need to make my front cover as attractive and being able to make it stand out as possible, or else I'm not going to be able to get any readers. So my main focus when creating this magazine is to make the front cover as most attractive as possible, because that will get me the audience which I want, and it will cause people to buy the magazine, hopefully. For question 4, I asked my peers to rate 5 fonts which I had selected, and for them to tell me which they preferred the most using a rating system. They'd rate the fonts by either saying they were really bad, bad, okay, good, or really good. Font example 1 had 1 really bad vote, 1 bad vote, 4 okay votes, 3 good votes, and 0 really good, indicating it was an average font. Font example 2 had no really bad, 1 bad, 5 okay, 2 good, and 1 really good, implying that it's an okay font. Font example 3 had 1 really bad, 3 bad, 3 okay, 1 good, 1 really good, indicating that it was a disliked font and my peers didn't like it so much. Font example 4 had 1 really bad, 3 bad, 1 okay, 1 good, and 3 really good, indicating it was a mediocre font. And finally, font 5, there was no really bad, 1 bad, 3 okay, 3 good, and 2 really good, indicating that this font was really liked by my peers. However, this font in particular would not work well as a masthead, as the font is too thin. I'd probably use it somewhere else, maybe for my main splash article title, or maybe some cover lines, but it would not do well whatsoever as my masthead. For question 5, I asked my peers in a multiple choice question what sort of giveaways would they like to see in a music magazine. The choices were free posters, free CDs, win tickets, win meet and greets with a band, offers such as collect 10 issues and get a free t-shirt, or subscribe and receive a gift. Since it was multiple choice, they could choose more than one answer, and overall, free posters was the most picked, which is no surprise to me since the majority of music magazines nowadays come with free posters. In second place came win tickets. Obviously people would like this because people can't always afford to go and see their favourite bands, or they just miss out on tickets. So this would offer fans to win tickets. So this is definitely something I'd include in my magazine. In third place was free CDs. This isn't done in many magazines, mostly monthly magazines. I'm going to do a weekly magazine, so I doubt I'll be including this free CD, even though it's quite popular. The others were win meet and greet with a band, subscriber and received a gift, those tied, and offers such as collect 10 issues, receive a t-shirt was last. Overall, 9 people took this and they all answered it. And for what I've learnt from this is that I definitely like to incorporate things like free posters, win tickets, and possibly subscribe and receive a gift. I'd say these are the most free popular features which are included in a magazine, in any music magazine really, but from the metal and rock magazines I've already looked at, there are definitely 3 key things which are included. I need to incorporate this in my magazine if I'd like to compete with these magazines such as Kerrang and Rock Sound. For question 6, I asked my peers what types of synergy they thought I should use for my music magazine. This was done as a multiple choice question, and the possible answers which people could have picked were website link, awards ceremony, radio station advert, tours, and a TV channel advert. The responses were all 9 people who took my survey thought I should incorporate a website link. This is definitely something I will choose to do. 5 people thought I should do tours like the Rock Sound Exposure Tour. that's definitely something I'd like to advertise, because the majority of metal magazines do it and I want to keep up with the competition. Third place, there was stuff like a TV channel advert like Kerrang TV. If I want to be a direct competitor to Kerrang, this is something I need to include in my magazine. In fourth place was an award ceremony, like the Kerrang Awards. I'd also like to incorporate this because it's just something that could target Kerrang also. I just think the award ceremony idea is pretty cool as well. The least popular was the radio station advert, which I'm not too bothered about because I think that with the internet being around, radio's died down a bit. I don't really think there's any need for a radio station, so I'm not really surprised by that being down there. But obviously, the other four things I'll definitely try and incorporate in my magazine, and they'd be great possibilities for me to use synergy. For my next question, I asked my peers what colours they thought would be suitable for a rock/metal magazine. Predominantly, the answers were red and black. However, someone did comment that bright colours because it would make it stand out. The idea that people have been telling me to add red and black obviously indicates that they think that the typical rock or metal magazine has the colour schemes red and black, which indicates to me that I should use the colours of red and black for my cover. People have told me that it looks mature, that it could be used to look bold, and a lot of people have said that it connotes the genre and represents blood and violence, which I think is a good explanation of why I should use these colours, and it's helped me decide that these two should be possible colours which I could use. For my next question, I asked my peers what features would make them want to buy a magazine. This was a multiple choice question, and the things they could choose from were free stuff, exclusive interviews, album reviews, gig reviews, funny articles, and Q&A. In first place came exclusive interviews. This is no surprise to me, as exclusive interviews is something you expect to see in a magazine. That's what makes a magazine unique, and that's what allows people to want to buy that magazine. Second place was free stuff. This didn't surprise me either, because free stuff is just stuff that we all like, and especially in music magazines, it's stuff like posters or giveaways. So it's something that people want to see. Then in tied third place was funny articles and QAs. This shocked me because funny articles aren't something like you tend to see that much. I mean, there's like the comic strip, which is in Kerrang, but other than that, there's nothing else similar to it. However, the QA could be like a useful thing. It's become a popular feature in a lot of metal and rock magazines. Usually they tend to get stars, and they get asked questions, give advice, and usually when somebody's like role model is answering these questions, it'll convince them to read that magazine. The ones that did less successful were album and gig reviews, which shocked me, because usually being a reader myself, I like to look at these album and gig reviews, so it tells me who I should go see or who I shouldn't see, or which albums I should pick up and what albums I shouldn't really pick up. And to be honest, even though it wasn't really popular with these people which took my survey, it's still things that I'd definitely like to include in my magazine, because for me, they are some of the most important features you could include in a music magazine. For my final question, I asked my peers what they thought about my target audience, if they thought it was a good choice or a bad choice. Luckily for me, everybody chose yes. Almost all of them, though, were just briefly yes. Nobody really stated why. However, on one, they told me that this particular audience would have a good amount of disposable income. Overall, this allowed me to believe that I had made a good choice when it came to my target audience, and that I don't really need to change it. So that's one thing I'm definitely sure about. So when I'm creating my magazine, I know that I'm definitely making it for this target audience. I know from asking other people, they believe I've chosen the right target audience. So this will allow me to be certain about something, which is very helpful.